Her TikTok went viral. Dating broke guys builds character, with me in the background. I didn't comment, just downloaded the video, then played it on a loop at her graduation party, right behind the podium where her dad was speaking. Hey viewers, just a quick thanks. Over 14% of you are already subscribed and it means the world. If you're new here and enjoy these stories, join the family by hitting that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000. Never posted on Reddit before, but this is too good not to share. Wild story from last month. Still can't believe I actually did this. Background real quick. I'm 25N Danny, work as a firefighter. Been with Madison 23F for 4 months. She's finishing up her nursing degree at the state university. Now Madison comes from serious money. Her dad Robert owns like half the rental properties downtown, plus some fancy restaurants. Total slumlord type who charges college kids crazy rent for garbage apartments while acting like he's doing them a favor. I found this out when Madison casually mentioned her dad was in real estate. Didn't think much of it until I was complaining about my landlord and she said, "Wait, what's your address?" Turns out my apartment building was one of his. Been dealing with broken heat, mold in the bathroom, all kinds of stuff his property management company refuses to fix. Madison knew the whole time. Said daddy couldn't get involved in day-to-day property stuff, and I should just work with the management company. Right? While she lived rent-free in a luxury apartment downtown, Madison always defended him. Daddy works so hard managing all those properties. Yeah, works hard cashing checks while students live in apartments with no hot water. But whatever. Madison seemed different from her family. Said she wanted to be a nurse to help people, not chase money like her parents. Said she liked that I had a real job helping the community. Should have seen the red flags, but hindsight and all that. 3 weeks ago, I'm at the firehouse between calls when my partner Luis shows me his phone. "Yo, Danny, isn't this your girl?" It's a TikTok video. Madison sitting in her apartment looking all serious and thoughtful. The text overlay says, "Why I choose to date working class men." My heart sank. Working class men. That's me apparently. But it gets so much worse. The video starts with her talking directly to the camera like she's giving a TED Talk or something. I know this is controversial, but I think dating someone from a lower economic background makes you a better person. Lower economic background. Like I'm some kind of charity case. Then she cuts to her making coffee in her kitchen. The kitchen in the luxury apartment daddy pays for, while my building has mice. My boyfriend Danny is a firefighter. He makes about $45K a year, which some people would say isn't enough, but I think it builds character to be with someone who's financially disadvantaged. Financially disadvantaged. This girl was really calling me poor on the internet. But here's the part that made my blood boil. Right as she's saying this, you can see me through her balcony door in the background. I'm out there fixing her bike chain because she'd asked me to earlier. So Madison is literally making a viral video about how dating poor people makes her noble, while I'm in the background doing maintenance work for her. The video already had 400K views when Luis showed it to me. Comments were going insane. This girl really said I'm better than you because I date down. Financially disadvantaged? Just say broke sis. Why is her broke boyfriend doing her chores in the background? Oh mayo. Rich girl discovers working class people exist, makes it about herself. Plot twist. Her daddy owns the slums her boyfriend lives in. That last comment had me seeing red because it was probably true. I watched the video 3 more times trying to convince myself I was overreacting. Nope. My girlfriend had made a viral TikTok about how dating me was basically community service. Luis was shaking his head. Bro, she really called you financially disadvantaged on the internet. Yeah, she did. What you gonna do? I honestly don't know. I finished my shift and drove straight to Madison's place. She was on her couch scrolling through comments, looking way too pleased with herself. Danny, did you see my video? It's blowing up. I saw it. Crazy, right? It's at 1.2 million views now. I never expected it to go this viral. Madison, you called me financially disadvantaged on TikTok for over 1 million people. I didn't call you that in a bad way. I was making a point about how society judges people based on income. By using me as an example of someone you're charitable enough to date? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I meant that I don't care about money like other girls, that I value character over wealth. And you couldn't make that point without telling everyone how much I make? I was being honest about our situation. Our situation, like dating me, was a hardship she was bravely enduring. Madison, did you ask me before making a video about our relationship? I didn't think you'd mind. I was defending you. Defending me from what? From people who might judge you for not making a lot of money. This girl genuinely thought she was doing me a favor by announcing to the internet that I was poor, but she dated me anyway. So you decided to tell 1 million people that I'm financially disadvantaged without asking me. I was trying to normalize dating people from different economic backgrounds. By treating me like a social experiment, she didn't answer that, just kept scrolling through comments looking proud of herself. I looked around her apartment, the one her slumlord dad pays for while charging me $1,800 a month for a place with black mold, and something clicked. You know what, Madison? You're absolutely right. Right about what? About everything. The economic differences, the character building, all of it. She smiled. I knew you'd understand once you thought about it. I understand perfectly. I left her place and spent the drive home thinking about what just happened. This girl had made me internet famous as the poor boyfriend she was generous enough to date, while her dad was probably counting the rent money I paid to live in his slum properties. Then I remembered something. Madison's graduation party was in 2 weeks. Big celebration at the country club. Her dad was giving a speech about her accomplishments and bright future. Whole extended family coming. All her college friends, everyone who mattered to her. That's when I got my idea. But first, I did some research. Called around to other tenants in my building. Turns out everyone was having the same problems with heat, plumbing, mold. Robert's property management company had been dodging complaints for months while collecting full rent. I also found out about his restaurants, health department violations, labor disputes, the works. Guy was a total scumbag businessman who cut every corner possible. Madison had no idea what her dad really was. Or maybe she did and just didn't care as long as the money kept flowing. 2 weeks later, Madison's graduation party was exactly as fancy as I expected. Country club, past appetizers, open bar that probably cost more than I make in a month. I showed up in my best suit, always clean up nice when needed. Madison introduced me around to relatives I'd never met. This is Danny, my boyfriend. He's a firefighter. Every single person gave me the same polite smile. The one that says how noble, while thinking how unfortunate for Madison. Her Aunt Carol actually said, "Thank you for your service," in that tone people use when they're really saying, "I'm sorry you couldn't afford college." Robert was holding court near the bar, talking loudly about business deals and property investments. Guy was loving being the center of attention. Just closed on another apartment complex downtown, he was telling some relatives. Students will pay anything for convenience. It's basically free money. Free money. While those same students lived in places with broken heat and mold problems. Around 8 p.m., Robert walked to the podium to give his big speech. The whole room gathered around as he started talking about Madison's accomplishments. "I'm so proud of my daughter," he said. "She's always been compassionate and caring. Even as a child, she wanted to help people less fortunate than herself." Less fortunate. There was that theme again. Madison has chosen nursing because she wants to make a difference in people's lives. She has such a big heart for those who need help. That's when I pulled out my phone and opened the TikTok app. See, I'd been planning this for 2 weeks. Downloaded Madison's viral video about dating financially disadvantaged people. The one where I'm fixing her bike in the background, like hired help. Earlier that day, I'd stopped by the country club and told them I was Madison's boyfriend helping with a surprise video tribute for her graduation. Asked if I could test the sound system real quick to make sure my phone would connect via Bluetooth. Staff was happy to help with the surprise. While Robert was going on about Madison's compassion for the less fortunate, I connected my phone to the venue's sound system and hit play. Madison's voice suddenly echoed through the country club. I know this is controversial, but I think dating someone from a lower economic background makes you a better person. The entire room went dead silent. Robert stopped mid-sentence and looked around confused. My boyfriend Danny is a firefighter. He makes about $45K a year, which some people would say isn't enough. People started pulling out phones, trying to figure out where the audio was coming from. Madison's face went white as she spotted me in the back. But I think it builds character to be with someone who's financially disadvantaged. That's when everyone turned to look at me. I was standing near the back wall, phone in hand, connected to the venue's sound system. He keeps me grounded and teaches me to appreciate simple things. Robert was still at the podium looking completely lost. The room was silent except for Madison's voice explaining to millions of people how dating poor firefighters was character building. I let the whole video play. Every word about lower economic backgrounds and financial disadvantage. Every comment about how generous she was to date someone like me. When it finished, the silence was deafening. Madison looked mortified. Her mom was clutching her pearls. Robert was standing at the podium, still trying to process what had just happened. Then Uncle Frank started laughing. Madison made a TikTok about dating poor people, he said loud enough for everyone to hear. That broke the dam. People started talking all at once, some laughing, some looking uncomfortable, most pulling out phones to find the original video. She really said financially disadvantaged? 2 million views? Holy cow. Wait, isn't that the firefighter she's dating? Carol, the aunt who thanked me for my service, walked over. That was you in the video? The financially disadvantaged boyfriend? That's me. Well, that was certainly something. Madison finally pushed through the crowd toward me. Danny, what the hell was that? That was your viral TikTok, Madison. The one about how dating me builds character. You ruined my graduation party. I shared your content. Isn't that what influencers want? More exposure? This is completely different. How? You put our relationship on the internet for millions to see. I just shared it with your family. Robert finally walked over from the podium, looking furious. What exactly is going on here? Your daughter made a viral video calling me financially disadvantaged and saying dating me builds her character. Thought you should see what she's been telling the internet about poor people. I handed him my phone with the TikTok still open. He watched the whole thing, his face getting redder with each word. When it finished, he looked at Madison. Honey, is this real? Dad, I can explain. You made a video calling your boyfriend poor for the whole internet. I wasn't calling him poor. I was making a point about economic inequality. By using him as an example of someone beneath you? That's not what I meant. Uncle Frank chimed in again. Sweetie, you literally said he was financially disadvantaged and that dating him builds character. That's pretty condescending. I was trying to be positive, Carol laughed. Honey, you made it sound like dating him was volunteer work. That's not what I meant. But the damage was done. The whole family had seen Madison explain how dating working-class people was basically charity that made her a better person. Robert was still holding my phone, looking at the video. 2.3 million views, he said quietly. Madison, do you understand how this makes our family look? Dad, it's not that bad. You're calling firefighters financially disadvantaged while I own half the buildings downtown. You're making us look like we think we're better than working people. Finally, someone was calling her out for the classist garbage in that video. And you, Robert turned to me. This was completely inappropriate. Mr. Peterson, your daughter made a viral video about our relationship without asking me. If you're embarrassed, maybe the problem isn't me sharing it. You ambushed my daughter at her graduation party. Your daughter ambushed me on TikTok for 2.3 million people. At least I only embarrassed her in front of family. This is harassment. This is accountability. He was about to respond when Carol cut him off. Robert, honey, maybe we should focus on why Madison thought this video was okay to make in the first place. The video isn't the problem. The problem is him playing it here. Dad, Frank said, the video is absolutely the problem. She called her boyfriend financially disadvantaged on the internet. That's messed up. Robert looked around the room. More people were watching the original TikTok on their phones. Some were reading comments out loud. Listen to this one, someone said. Rich girl discovers working class people exist, makes it about herself. That's brutal. Here's another one. Plot twist. Her daddy owns the slums her boyfriend lives in. Robert's face went white. What did that comment say? Something about owning slums. I couldn't help myself. Funny thing about that comment, Mr. Peterson. I live in one of your buildings, the one on 5th Street with the broken heat and black mold. Been trying to get repairs for months. The room got quiet again. Robert was staring at me. You live in one of my properties? Building 412 on 5th Street, apartment 3B. Been paying you $1,800 a month to live with mice and mold while your daughter makes TikToks about how generous she is to date someone financially disadvantaged. Dad, Madison said quietly, is that true? Does Danny live in one of our buildings? Robert didn't answer. He was too busy calculating how bad this looked. Uncle Frank was grinning. So let me get this straight. Madison made a viral video about how noble she is for dating a poor firefighter while her family is charging that same firefighter overpriced rent for a garbage apartment? Frank, that's enough, Robert snapped. No, this is fascinating. The girl makes content about helping the less fortunate while Daddy profits off them. People were starting to leave. Hard to continue a graduation celebration after the guest of honor gets exposed for classist content, while her dad gets called out for being a slumlord. Madison followed me to the parking lot. Danny, I'm sorry. I didn't know you lived in one of Daddy's buildings. Would it have mattered if you did? Of course it would have. Why? Would you have made a different video? One about how your family profits off the financially disadvantaged people you're so noble for dating? She didn't have an answer for that. Madison, you turned our relationship into content about how generous you are to date beneath your economic level, while your family was literally profiting off my rent money. I never said I was dating beneath my level. You said I was financially disadvantaged, and that dating me builds character. I was trying to make a point about not judging people by money, by judging me based on money and calling it character building. Danny, please, I love you. You love the idea of being enlightened enough to date a working class guy. There's a difference. That's not fair. Your TikTok says otherwise. I got in my truck and drove home. Madison called and texted all night, but I didn't respond. The aftermath. That was 3 weeks ago. The graduation party story has gotten around pretty good. Someone filmed my speaker stunt and posted it online. That video is at 300K views now. Comments are destroying Madison. Rich slumlord's daughter makes content about dating poor people while daddy charges them rent. The audacity to call someone financially disadvantaged while living off their rent money. This family really said, let's profit off poor people and make content about how noble we are for dating them. Madison tried to do damage control, posted a follow-up video explaining that she didn't mean to sound condescending, and that her family's business had nothing to do with her relationship. Too late. The internet connected the dots real quick. People found Robert's property management company, found the health violations at his restaurants, found everything. His business reputation is taking a hit. Turns out publicly calling your tenants financially disadvantaged while charging them overpriced rent for moldy apartments isn't great for business. Madison's been trying to apologize, but I'm done. She keeps saying the video came out wrong, that she never meant to sound superior, but the video came out exactly how she meant it. She genuinely believed dating someone who makes less money was some kind of character-building charity work. That's not love. That's a social experiment with a side of virtue signaling. My buddy Louise said it best. She basically made a commercial about how generous she is for dating you, while her family was literally charging you rent. That's next level messed up. So yeah, that's how I ended up playing my ex-girlfriend's viral TikTok at her graduation party. Was it petty? Absolutely. Was it worth it? You bet. Sometimes people need to hear how their words sound when played back in front of everyone they're trying to impress. Madison wanted to go viral for her enlightened take on dating working-class people. Mission accomplished. She just didn't expect the working-class guy to have receipts about her family's business practices.